you're a financial advisor, I think the key is to make sure that you focus on a specific niche or vertical or target market and really being the best version or the best
Mhm.
expert you can so that you know more than the client knows, so they lean on you for your expertise.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Juliana Crummel. She's the Director of Client Development at Merit Financial Advisors. Juliana, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor, and I'm so excited for this opportunity.
Yeah, great to have you. Great to have you. So, Juliana, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've always been a creative person who loved arts, making new friends, and really writing. I graduated from the University of Georgia, go Dogs, and with a journalism and music business degree. And it's kind of funny because when I went into the to that degree, I realized that man, I'm going to be on TV, but I was really focused on content creation. If you know journalists, that's what they do, bread and butter, since like the beginning of time. And so from there, I really understood like project management skills, how to do video editing, digital marketing, and really focus on good content. And
Hmm.
then afterwards, I graduated, really focused on becoming a brand ambassador for several companies. From there, I learned a lot about event marketing and just sales in general and how to
Yeah.
educate people and not be salesy. Then I had an opportunity to move to a digital marketing role,
Mhm.
which really allowed me to understand SEO, PPC, and then
Mhm.
I really got into my sweet spot where I combined sales and marketing as a client development manager at Merit. And that's where I really understood how both avenues and
Yeah.
both different departments work together. We're kind of like the glue that sticks together between sales and marketing. Um, I really flourished with all the skills I've created and learned over the years, really focusing on business to clients at that moment through education and again, content. And then now I'm a director. So it's been a long journey and I really enjoy giving back to our client development managers, really mentoring them, training them, kind of giving them the skills and tools that are needed to be successful and also focusing on M&A, which is really exciting because companies that come on board don't really understand content marketing. So our job
Mhm.
is to find a go-to market strategy for their services and put a beautiful, wonderful campaign around them in hopes that it does well.
That's fantastic. So it sounds like you've had a really great journey, kind of everything leading up to the position that you're in now. So tell me a little bit more about Merit.
So Merit is a financial services and wealth management company, but we do have a service offering for CPAs and also retirement plans as well. So if you're probably a size of like 50 and you're looking for a 401k plan, we can offer that. If you're looking for a CPA, if you're looking for a wealth manager, just array of that. And we really focus on, of course, most people say high net worth individuals, but we're highly targeted.
Mhm.
Most of our clients are either corporate executives, manager, or employees. Some of them are widows, divorcees, and some people really just walk into sudden wealth.
Yeah.
Whether you're, unfortunate, but your parents, might pass, and you might have an inheritance from your grandparents, or you may win the lottery. That's a big change, and you need to make sure you have a plan in place so that you make better financial decisions because that's when mistakes do happen.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So, there are a lot of other financial advisors out there. Talk to me why Merit is the best choice.
Well, I am going to read a definition of merit. The definition of merit is the quality of being particularly good or worthy to especially deserve praise or reward. So our logo and our brand specifically says Merit Financial Advisor. So we try to be fiduciary. We always know that if you do the right thing, success will follow. We
Mhm.
try not to focus on ever serving everyone. There's more than enough people in the world to serve and help. And if you're a financial advisor, I think the key is to make sure that you focus on a specific niche or vertical or target market and really being the best version or the best
Mhm.
expert you can so that you know more than the client knows, so they lean on you for your expertise. I think that's why we thrive in what we do because we really, again, focus on specific corporate employees,
Mhm.
widows, divorcees, and sudden wealth as well. And
Mhm.
so, because we just focus on that rather than saying high net worth individuals,
Yeah.
business owners, that's what differentiates us. And we're highly targeted.
Yeah. So why do you think it's so important to have, a specific target audience?
Because I think that if you try to service everybody, your message becomes generic. And
Mm.
that's when you don't stand out. So, for instance, if you say that you service business owners, each business has different problems and needs, whether you're in dentistry, you're in like textile, or you're selling a service. So, if you say, we help business owners, this is what we can do for you, it's not really it's very generic. But if we say, okay,
Mhm.
we work specifically with dentists who own businesses. You guys are highly regulated. We know your plans ins and outs, and we know that these are the steps you need to take to stay compliant. These are the steps you need to take to make sure you're making a profit. I
Mhm.
think that's when people's ears perk up and say, "Wow, you're speaking our language, and you know
Yeah.
us. Like we don't have to tell you and explain our whole life story." And so
Yeah.
I think that's why it's important to have a specific market and really just kind of deeper in there and really build those lasting relationships.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned before a little bit about business owners, people who may have just won the lottery. Talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges that your clients have before they find merit.
So I think that for our business owners, or corporate senior executives and management people, they have very busy lives. I actually have a friend of mine that's not my neighbor at PwC, and he works probably 80 hours a week, but he makes, a lot of money and he has a lot of assets. He doesn't have the time to really
Mhm.
focus because after work, he just wants to have a beer, hang out with his wife and his kids and enjoy life, not think about, oh, how is the market doing? But there are
Mhm.
certain people who enjoy that. They love looking at the market, and that's great. And that's where we can show education. And then that's also a way for us to like educate and promote us because if you're the person to do it yourself, you may know
Mhm.
somebody that don't want to do it themselves.
Mhm.
So that's our focus really on corporates and business owners and just really making sure that we utilize their time effectively.
Mhm.
People in transition and divorce, widowhood, sudden wealth, they're usually in a very vulnerable state.
Mhm.
And so if you're in a vulnerable state, you're going to make mistakes. And so our job is to really stay objective. So for instance, if you're going through a divorce, you're going to have to work with an attorney, a CPA, a mitigator, and you may make like hard and difficult decisions because of your emotions. So
Mhm.
our advisors are really there to say, here's a checklist. This is what we need to know. This is objective. This is by the law. Same with widows. I think there's over like 250 Social Security strategies you can take as a widow and people in general. It's
Wow.
not just one. Yeah, I had no idea. And so if you have that many choices and you're that vulnerable, you're not going to, but there's a high chance you're going to make the
Yeah.
wrong decision. So our job is to make sure that all your estate planning is in place and also that you follow and make the best decision, whether it's Social Security, your estate, and inheritance. Same with sudden wealth. I think that you become everybody's best friend when people know you have a lot of money and it might
Mhm.
not be for the right reasons.
Mhm.
Also, say that you're in a second marriage and you have a sudden wealth, you need to make sure that you have a plan in place so the right people get the right money, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, no,
So those
absolutely.
are those are some of the ways that we can really help with the challenges, and I think that's why we're successful because we're just ultra focused and
Mhm.
producing great content, valuable content, and relevant content.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit more about kind of the content.
Um, we are not selling like a Roomba. So it's not like, you have a flashy ad and next thing you know that like, oh my God, this is so cool. It does everything like a robot's supposed to do. So the way that we've really built our business is through education because we're selling a service. Like you can find a mom and pop shop financial advisor, down the street. You can have a big wirehouse like Morgan Stanley, but our job is to really educate people. So yes, the education is king, content is king, but the medium that we provide those education has changed over time. So initially before COVID, we really focused on a lot of in-person events, whether it's workshops, lunch and learns, dinners, networking events. That was really fruitful because people had to go to offices and they had busy lives and they could stop by a restaurant.
Mhm.
After COVID, a lot has changed for the good, I think. So now we really focus on the digital side as well. We really call it the integrated marketing strategy for our firm. And so we focus on PR, social media, blogs, video content, podcasts, everything that kind of works together in
Mhm.
tandem with the event marketing. But the content stays the same, and making sure that we provide good content.
Mhm.
And that's really been our cornerstone. And we've just pivoted through the times. And now I think people love short videos. People are just zoomed out. So we're just really listening to our audience and seeing what resonates the best with them and providing them different mediums per their needs,
Yeah.
throughout the day.
Yeah, yeah. So in your role, talk to me a little bit about how Merit has grown since the time that you've been there.
Oh my gosh. When I started, there was 20 people. But I think it's like 6 years later, now we have over 250 people. So we've grown extremely fast. I think we had over 10 acquisitions last year, and we're hoping to do more this year. So we're going to be very busy. I think the way that we've grown is through very smart partnerships.
Mhm.
Ren Ken, our CEO, he's a wonderful man, super inspiring. He started in the business in the 1990s to really focus on education and helping the financial crisis that were happening. Can you imagine 2008, all the different crises that he went through? And then from there on, once he became more of a CEO type of role, he realized that the best way to run a business is understanding each person's unique ability and
Mhm.
then utilizing it to their best ability so that they can flourish and grow. And
Mhm.
so, whenever he or we looked at different companies to partner with, we try to understand their culture, their team, and also their needs and their target market. And
Yeah.
so, I think that they say that if you try to do it alone, you go fast, but if you do it together, you're stronger and better. So that's our approach on really not necessarily being the fastest one to get there, but also making sure that we're the strongest one and the most sustainable one to get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So kind of talking about changes that you've seen in the space since you've been at Merit. Talk to me a little bit about some of the misconceptions that are out there, either about content marketing, about Merit Financial. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So, some of the misconceptions is that people think that financial advisors are there to just take your money and make money, but we're really not. I mean, if you think about the person, money is everywhere and it's very personal to you, especially the older you get, you've accumulated the most. Our job is to protect and making sure that you're making the best financial decisions. We kind of have a thing where we call it that you're going to be dating someone before you're marrying them, because once you're married to them, we are going to be part of all of your financial decisions to say, John, I think this is a great idea, or no, John, I don't think you should be pulling out $50,000. Like, there's the things that like you have to have with your wife and husband. So I think that understanding that if you find the right advisor, that they're there to help you, and then the content they produce, it's hard to say. Most of our content is we don't really have an issue of saying, oh, is this false content? Because we're highly, highly regulated by
Absolutely.
SEC and FINRA. So say that you make a content, you can produce this in maybe 3 days or whatever, and push it out to your audience. It takes about 2 weeks, because the
Hmm.
fact that we have to get pre-approval, we have to make sure we have the script, we have to make sure we don't say promissory things saying like, oh, if you invest with us, I guarantee you're going to make 30%. And if you do hear that, you may want to run the other way. So, I think that that's one of the challenges. Another challenge is, I think, the misconception challenge that we have in our industry is that we're like snails. Like we are not digital at all. Like we just got on like an enterprise platform for like email marketing. It took us probably 7 years to get on like a Pardot or a Marketo when it's been around. So everything we do, like video texting, we couldn't even
Yeah.
text until this year. Can you believe
Really?
that? Yeah, we could not text our clients until this year. So it's 2023. So I I think that it's not necessarily the misconception to our audience, but the more of the regulators to say
Yeah.
you have to follow the times or you're limiting us. And
Yeah.
there's so many other people that may not be SEC FINRA regulated, that they're doing bad things and putting out bad content because you're stopping us from,
Yeah.
or mitigating us from doing that. So it's actually the other way around, I would think.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So, say, Juliana, someone wants to check out Merit Financial. Where would they go to find you, the platform? Talk to me a little bit about that.
So we have a lot of different platforms that we focus on, predominantly, obviously, our website, that's our home base. And then we also have a YouTube page, we have a Facebook page, we have a LinkedIn page, and a Twitter page. Most of our clients, I think, that are either millennials or above really focus on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I know like we're kind of starting to dabble in it, but that's our target demographic. And I think we are going to definitely make an effort to really reach out to the next generation or the Henrys that are high income earners and that are young.
Yes.
So we're hoping to branch out to TikToks and more videos, but just because we are in those like top three platforms, we're really content heavy and focused on education and video focused because I think that's like the new way to receive medium and it's really fun.
No, it absolutely is. I completely agree with you. Great. Yeah, I love that. And people will definitely, have to get a hold of you that through your website. And I love that the new kind of staying in touch, like you said, your advisors are trying to stay in touch with their clients and you're trying to stay in touch with them as well, kind of in very, absorbable means. So,
Mhm.
Juliana, if you wanted to leave our listeners with one thing either about content marketing, about Merit Financials, what would you want to leave our listeners with?
Honestly, I think that if you're wondering why your marketing, strategy is not working, I think it's worth working with somebody like your company to understand or working inside and having an audit to see like what kind of content are you producing. If you're, targeting widows, are you talking about,
Mhm.
debt savings? Widows are not going to be really focused on debt savings. Understanding the language and making sure all of that your branding and your message is cohesive. And I think the first most important thing is if you're doing content marketing, you have to be patient. It's not the type of thing where you're going to see result. Maybe you will be, you're lucky, but you're not going to just see immediate results in the first month. I would say
100%.
whatever campaign you launch, whether it's through integrating marketing strategy, events, webinars, etc., even videos of Roomba, give it some time. Like I would say at least for a year, I would say would be a good time frame to really understand the analytics. And if it doesn't work out, don't keep going because at the end of the day, like that's part of marketing is just really trying things
Yeah.
and trying things new. And I think that's why I love this industry is because you can be creative and take risks, well, calculated risks. So I'm excited for you guys to, learn from Right For Me, learn from me. And if you have any questions about the financial services industry and marketing, we are always here to help you. I think there's more than enough knowledge to go around. And if I can make a difference in another financial advisor's life to help with their marketing strategy or insurance agent or anybody in that industry, I'd be more than happy to share that.
That's fantastic. Well, Juliana, this has been a very insightful conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on Business Ninjas with me today.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again. And let me know if you need anything else. I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you too.